Okay, so today is my final day here teaching in Dubai, and I don't really know what to say and how I feel about those things, except for the fact that I'm nervous, slightly worried, slightly scared, but also very excited about the process. In a former video, I spoke to you about why I'm leaving teaching in Dubai, and to be fair, it's very little to do with the actual problem of teaching in Dubai, but more the opportunities that present themselves to me, especially as I get married and I look at what I want to do after marriage, and traveling has always been one of those things. But a lot of people have asked me, well, yeah, but what about after travel? And I think like what we happen to do sometimes in society is to kind of rush people to have a plan, and I have no plan, kind of. I have an idea, but not a plan. I have an idea of what I want to do next, but not specifically a plan. So traveling is an opportunity for me to kind of venture further abroad and to kind of see parts of the world that I've always dreamed of. And there was a poem that I put on my social media yesterday that I'm going to read to you so that you kind of hopefully understand my mindset and the process that led me to make the choice. Our teacher told us one day he would leave and sail across a warm blue sea to places he had only known from maps and all his life had longed to be. The house he lived in was narrow and grey, but in his mind's eye he could see sweet scented jasmine clinging into the walls and green leaves burning on an orange tree. He spoke of lands he longed to visit, where it was never drab or cold. I could never understand why he never left and shook off the school's stranglehold. Then, halfway through his final term, he took ill and never returned. And he never got to see that place on the map where the green leaves of the orange tree burned. The maps were redrawn on the classroom wall. His name was forgotten, it faded away, but a lesson he never knew he taught is with me to this day. I travel to where the green leaves burn, to where the ocean's glass, clear and blue. To all those places my teacher taught me to love, but which he never knew. Right, so I think I cried in the classroom when I first read that, and the children were very aware that that was probably the poem that really made me think about things. And for me, that poem is something that resonates not just with travel, but also with other elements of my life. You know, with YouTube and creating videos, other things that I've got in my mind. There's been a lot of things that I've talked about that I've never really explored. So in many ways, well, the 3 months of traveling is going to be that. After that, and perhaps during that travel, will also be a time of personal exploration and professional exploration in terms of what I want to do regarding this channel, further sharing of other bits and pieces, and to really try and delve into a specific avenue that I hope can really be supportive. Now, you're probably wondering why these are here. It's not just because my classroom is a tip, although that is true. This represents my channel at the moment. This is me. I very egotistically name my channel after myself because I like the idea that the silver play button is going to have my name on it, not some random name. But that's that. And I've done pretty well so far. However, I've been creating videos on YouTube for 6 years, and if you compare, it's actually not super great, but this represents you guys. Each color is a different interest that you have, and with a YouTube channel, typically you have a channel, and most viewers are kind of typically the same shade. I think this is a good representation of the fact that mine is not. You know, yellow might be travel. I've made a lot of random travel videos because I want to do that, and I think that's important. I've made purple videos, on black videos, black being perhaps like AI, purple being edtech videos, especially during, you know, online learning and all that business. Then we've got the shades of green. This green might be teach abroad. This green might be teaching in Dubai. And you know, if you look in this, you'll actually see quite a few shades of green. Red, let's just say red is typical teaching videos, and perhaps white is home, classroom tour type things. So you see that there's a true mix. And what happens is if somebody follows me for, let's say, a purple or a black, which is edtech, and then the next 5 videos that I create are not that, then they're probably not going to become interested in what I have in the future. Equally, if I have green and light green, and I'm creating videos about that, and then all of a sudden I switch to EdTech, like I've done during like all the different AI stuff, perhaps that viewer is not going to be interested. The goal, the dream, is that someone will follow me for me, and my personality and all those different bits and pieces. But let's be honest, I have the personality of a wet fish. So believing that all these different people will follow me for just me and not care what I upload is quite naive. So the future might look different. The future, I do have a spare. I have a spare box. The future might be a second channel. What this looks like, I'm not too sure. But at the moment, I'm thinking I start creating videos like this. And you'll see that I'm not going to take all the purple and blacks out of here, because some people aren't going to, some people might be inactive, not wanting to move all those different bits and pieces. But over time, I want to try and build a more specific channel that is dedicated to EdTech and AI perhaps, or maybe it's the other way around and maybe we do it where one channel is more specifically focused on teaching abroad and avenues such as that. And you'll notice that this is quite small now, and that's normal with any new channel that starts up. But what that means is that it might be better for this person who comes and they know that each video that I create on this channel is going to be specifically related to the topic that they're interested in, rather than like this, where, let's say this yellow person, I forget what the colors were, this person introduced themselves to this channel because, and then I'd never post a yellow video again. That's what I would like to do, and to try and focus on not just creating videos in this area, but creating lots of other supportive content that can be accessed and shared alongside that too. Now, if this makes no sense, I do apologize, but I thought that the multi-link analogy would be quite interesting. I think one thing I would love to do alongside this is to support teachers with the idea of growing a passionate area of theirs. Because one thing I've started to realize the more I'm in education is that not all educators want to be in education for the rest of their lives, but many don't see any other way out. And that really saddens me, because I've been able to start to grow things outside of my profession, although much of it is to do with teaching. A lot of people I know have been supported by myself to grow outside of the field of education, and then therefore be able to reach outside of it. That's something I'd love to do, really love to do. Whether that works in the future, that's where the exploration phase comes in, and that's what's next. At the moment we're like this might come into it, but I'm intrigued to know what your thoughts are of having just one basket full of individual people. So that's the next step, and in terms of enjoying life, we're just going to see what happens. I might make another video in the future, what's next, part 2, where I start to review and I understand what it is that I want to do in the future. But for now, that is the question answered, at least in my head, and I hope that makes sense of what's going to happen next. Keep your eyes peeled for more. I'll see you in the next one.